atmosphere, tension. How do we build them? Eight. Horror is about fear. And fear is not what you've discovered, it is not what you've explored. It is what you sense but don't know. 7. Tension comes from a sense of urgency. Every moment you wait, somebody dies. Every missed opportunity, more death, more failure. Every moment you delay, your job gets harder. More people die. The enemy grows in strength.
Late last night around 11:30 p.m, a huge fire spread through Bond Street. Many were very badly burned. You can still smell their flesh burning off them. Smells like chicken.
It's called a deadline for a reason. Dead line. Too late. 6. You have until 66 minutes past 6. No, not 7:15. 66 minutes past 6. The clock is ticking.
Early this morning at approximately 7:15 a.m, another body was found, detached from its own severed head, in Piccadilly. You were too late again. Deary me.
In addition to tension, you can also use a jump scare, but not by just turning to your player and suddenly go, "Ah!" There is another way to do a jump scare, to do it to the character instead of the player. As you enter into the next room of the tomb, the floor is full of skulls. I would like you to make a perception check upon entering this room. Roll your skill, that's 66 or more.
120.
A complete success. But here's where we can subvert expectations. I'm not doing a standard perception check here because this is actually a fear test, one that involves perception because it involves noticing a slight movement. But I'm actually doing a fear test. This enables me to subvert the player's expectations of a successful dice roll. You pass your perception test. This means you see the skulls turning to look at you as you move. They're watching you. You feel something on your neck. If you'd have failed the perception test, you wouldn't have seen anything. But actually, are these skulls really turning or not? He's hypersensitive, he's alert. He's seen something because his character is nervous. You're under attack. Make a dodge roll.
1.
You failed to dodge, but there's nothing there.
But you just said that there were skulls there, looking at me.
Oh, they're watching you.
But there's nothing there.
You felt it on your neck. You're feeling it again. If all the hairs on your head are standing on end, there is something at play here.
Another consequence of your inactions, this time in Leicester Square, out of all places. Someone was very violently run over by a car.
5. What is actually at play is the character's personality. The character is scared. And you can, as a GM, completely abuse this and put the player into the same state of mind just by them not knowing what's going on. Them not understanding is actually a bonus. It's the unknown which is scary. 4. You can also build atmosphere with mundane things, descriptions that just aren't quite natural. A lone pencil sits on the dirty desk, but the light bounces off it strangely, yet there is no light source nearby.
A disemboweled man, late last night, was found hanging by his own intestines, disemboweled, hanging from a barbershop sign in Fleet Street. Too late again, players.
The weather is also another trick you can use just to set the scene, just to make things feel a bit more desperate and downtrodden, just to add the atmosphere of gloom and despair. 3. In a role-playing game, a narrated life of an NPC is a commodity, and you can take it away. This resource of NPCs the players know, it's a pool of resources that you can remove from play as the players take too long or as they fail. Gore and intestines and kidneys and livers being exposed isn't really horror in and of itself, but it can be a useful tool in description, just to help build that atmosphere, to paint a picture of hell. 2. When describing something scary, you should begin to talk slower and perhaps lower. This slow, tense way of talking will help to induce fear into the atmosphere.
Seems the trail you were looking for had gone cold, and now, thanks to your failures, when you opened up your tin of beans for breakfast this morning, you found a couple of fingers inside there as well.
Horror games aren't like a normal dungeon bash. You don't go charging into the next room, exploring and revealing. Horror isn't about revealing, it's about not revealing. And sometimes when we're running a game, we can just fall into the pattern of the way we run the games, as opposed to allowing ourselves to run a horror game which is distinctly different. So try to keep it up here in your mind the whole time that you're scared, because if you keep that thought of being scared in your mind, that will come out in your description, in the way you narrate the story as it unfolds. 1. An old GM trick is to take something away from the players, but in horror you can do something far worse. You can change the nature of an item. When a player reaches for something they don't expect to be anything other than what it is, I reach for my sword, but that sword actually turns out to be writhing maggots as they clasp the handle, and then they're just covered in maggots. And sorry, cat. Sorry. Totally an outtake there. I just scared my cat. Subvert expectations where possible, with things that are known and trusted, both in-game in terms of items the player might possess, or a door, or things in the environment that you would think just are what they are. Change them. And subvert the player's expectations by mixing up how you do the roles. Make a success into a failure.
Thanks to you, London Waterloo Station will never be the same again. At approximately 6:66 p.m. last night, the train station erupted in blood. Patrons will be visiting there quite regularly for some time, and the area has been cornered off for months to come.
If at all possible, write your scenario so that the players have a genuine dilemma. Horror can sometimes be making a difficult or unwanted decision, making the wrong choice, or the greater good choice, or save myself, save other people, save the world, or save me. Make your players choose something precious to them or the greater good. Too late. But no matter how terrible the story, no matter how terrible the situation, the players must always have hope. They must always be able to see a possible way out. Because without hope, horror doesn't work. Horror needs its polar opposite there. Horror is the opposite of hope. So if you give your players a chance, no matter how slim, they'll fight for it, and they'll put up with everything that's going on around them. All the macabre, all of the whatever you're throwing at them, all of the tension, all of the suspense. Give them some hope, just a